The April 30th, 2019 regular session for the Hillsboro School District Board of Directors. We start all of our meetings with the flag salute, so please join us. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We are going to start tonight off with a student recognition with Director Mark Watson.
Tonight it is my pleasure to introduce the students and staff from Reedville Elementary School who are active in Reedville's after-school STEAM program. Students in Reedville STEAM Club, led by Yesenia Flores and Christine Durchie, learn to design and program video games using the Voxels program. They planned, created, and animated all of their own backgrounds, characters, and gameplay. At the end of the program, they were able to publish their games so other students from around the world can play them. Under the leadership of Hugo Johnson, fourth grade students in the after-school STEAM program also learned to code and run Sphero robots. Tonight, the students will discuss their experiences, which are preparing them to become career and college ready. Please help me welcome these Reedville Elementary students and staff.
Hi everybody, my name is Yesenia Flores. I am the STEAM coach at Reedville Elementary School. So excited today to be here with these students who are going to present about some of the STEAM activities that we have had this year at Reedville. We have Ms. D here with us, Teresita, Ava, and Soraya. And they are going to go ahead and present what they have learned.
En video game design nosotros trabajamos en grupos de 4. En estos grupos hicimos una videojuego de práctica. Empezamos por dibujar en un papel nuestra portada de atrás. Después lo copiamos en una aplicación y lo decorábamos. Una vez que todos los grupos hicieron un videojuego, lo presentamos con la clase. Después de todo esto, cada persona pudo crear su propio videojuego. Una de mis partes favoritas de Video Game Design fue que nosotros aprendimos a hacer algo que a todos nos gusta.
A makerspace is a place where you can make, modify, and invent different building creation. The makerspace we used connects Lego blocks and other items around the school area. I learned that you can add sound and make the change colors. I like creating music and doing it. When we finish our maze, we challenge each other to do each other's blocks. I use an iPad and start putting the item blocks together, and that's what I do to make this really easy. For example, you can make this turn
And we have a video of Soraya.
Okay, that's your program. Looks really nice. Can we see what you have so far? Okay, very nice. Very nice, Soraya. Did you create this maze yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Thank you very much.
Well, I think we better take a picture of you guys.
Yeah.
I think there's one more video too. Oh, yeah. That's okay. Thank you.
Okay, here we have Leah and Stefania. And can I see your program? Okay, are you working on the smaller rectangle or the bigger rectangle?
Yes, no one says we did the bigger.
Okay, what are the dimensions of the small rectangle?
50 and 30.
50 by 30. Okay, let's see it. When you're ready. Nice. 50 centimeters. The last one is a little short. I think. Okay, so what variable can we change on the last one? Let's look at iPads. What variable can we change on that last one? That's the second to last one. That's the second to last one. You're changing the wrong one. Oh, you're right. It is the second to last one. Okay, good. Yes! Look at that! Nicely done, high five. Good job, guys. Good job, okay, here we have Leah and Stefania. And can I see your
Thank you.
Picture.
Yeah, right there. Okay, stop. All right. One, two, and one more. One, two. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. That was wonderful. Now we have another recognition with Director Erica Lopez.
Like the 100 times for me. So this evening is pretty special. We are actually awarding 2 scholarships. And before I start talking about the people that are receiving these scholarships, I want them to come up here so that they can listen to all the wonderful things we're going to say about them. So if I can have Erika Gonzalez Moreno and Jocelyn Angulo Mejia, please come up here. So this evening, the board will recognize Hillsboro School District seniors Erika Gonzalez Moreno and Jocelyn Angulo Mejia, recipients of the Hillsboro School District Board of Directors Scholarship. This June, Erika will be graduating from Glencoe High School and Jocelyn will be graduating from Hillsboro High School. Both students have been accepted into the Bilingual Teacher Scholar Program and are committed to making a difference in the world as teachers, helping students overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. Erika is interested in teaching elementary school students and Jocelyn is interested in teaching Spanish and history at the high school level. In December, the board agreed to use the funds provided by OSBA to create 2 scholarships of $2,500 each. 4 students applied for the HSD Board of Directors scholarships, and the interview committee was impressed by the personal strengths and qualities demonstrated by all of the candidates. The scholarship recipients will be honored by the board this evening. I would like to invite also Jackie and Ken to come up because they were part of the team so that we can present you on the board. And then you get to take a picture of the big
Step closer and maybe you go this way and your families can get a good shot too. There you go.
Oh, Erica, no, get over here.
Well, here, blanket.
Come on up,
this
Mom.
side, Jackie. No.
Me? Oh, come on up. Okay, good.
Okay.
Yes, it's okay.
All right, 1, 2, And one more. 1, 2,
Thank you. Very, very exciting. I love whenever we get to use the big check. So, all right.
We look forward to seeing you in the Hillsboro class in the future.
So Mike is going to share something real quick, and then we'll do an approval of the agenda.
So a couple months back, we were asked by some of the board members to think about providing childcare during board meetings. And so we have that available this evening. Brooke, do you want to make a quick announcement about what that looks like?
Hi everyone, good evening. We do have a couple of students from our Century High School Little Jays program that are here to watch any of your students for any amount of time that you need this evening. They do work with littles every day in Little J, so they do have experience in that. If you are interested in that, please come upstairs with me. They will be in 212. So if that's of interest to you, if you want to pause and I can escort any students upstairs, this will be the time. And if not, I'll just sit back there and that's whatever works for you.
Thank you, Brooke.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So we're going to be trying this out for
2 months.
for about 2 months to see if it's of use to the community for us to continue. So it's kind of a trial basis to see how it goes. So that's very exciting. Yay. Wonderful. Oh, good. Brooke, ages. It would be good for us to know.
And anyone who would like to come upstairs, there, so whatever age you are.
Okay. 18 and below.
Might ask us 18 and below.
Okay. That's a wise one. Okay, great. Wonderful. And then if you were here this evening to watch any of the presentations and recognitions of students, we don't mind if you get up and leave whenever you want. You don't feel like you have to sit through the next 2 hours of our board meeting. We don't get offended, so feel free to leave whenever, or also you're welcome to stay, but just, we won't get upset if you get up and leave. Okay, wonderful. All right, I am now looking for a motion to approve our agenda.
Move to approve the agenda as presented. Second.
All right, it has been moved by Kim and seconded by Jackie to approve our agenda as printed. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Sorry, I was trying to sign back in my computer. I see you, Martin. Go. Yes.
Madam Chair, I would like to ask that we pull item 4. The reason being, I'm working with Adam, and he actually can't be here tonight, he's ill, regarding some of the impact at Butternut Creek Elementary School, so.
S4?
Action item
Action item
F4.
Okay. So are you making a motion? Is that right?
Are we approving the,
No, we're trying to approve the agenda as printed. This is okay. It's a good time. So are you actually trying to make a motion to get it off for tonight?
Yeah, pull
Okay,
item.
so if you would make a motion to postpone that item for the next regular session on May 28th, then that would be good.
Thank you, ma'am. I move that we postpone item 4F until our next board meeting.
Second.
All right. It has been moved by Martin and seconded by Erica that we postpone item F4, the 4-party memorandum of understanding, until our next regular session on May 28th. Is there any discussion about that? Sorry, gosh. Kim and then Mark?
Yeah, what is the implications of that? Do you need it before then?
No, that was my thing, sense of urgency, so I can.
Okay.
Mark, okay.
Yeah, I talked to Martin today about that, and I checked into the timeline, so we are good. It
Okay.
just allows us to entertain the opportunity to provide pathways in that green space, and so we want to at least have that conversation
Thank you.
before we move forward.
Okay.
So that's what it's about.
Thank you.
Wonderful, okay. So it has been moved by Martin and seconded by Erica that we postpone action item F4, the 4-party memorandum of understanding, to our next regular session on May 28th. If you would like to postpone that until the next regular session on May 28th, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. If not, please say no. Okay, so we'll postpone that meeting, that until our next meeting, regular session meeting on May 28th, which means, Val, do I need a different motion now about our agenda?
Yeah, I think so, because now they have to do it as amended.
Okay, so now I need a motion to approve our agenda as amended.
I move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Kim and seconded by Jackie that we approve our agenda as amended. Is there any discussion? Okay, if you'd like to approve our agenda as amended, as Kim moved and Jackie seconded, please say aye. Aye. If not, please say no. Okay, wonderful. Next up on our agenda is audience time. Val, have you received any audience cards?
No, I haven't.
If you are here this evening and you do wish to address the board, there are cards on the back table that you can fill out and give to Val Bachma here, and she will turn them into us so that we can hear you speak. I'll wait just a second in case anybody gets a wild hair and decides to do that. We should cue Jeopardy music for this time. Okay, all right, so I don't see anybody getting up, so we'll pass that on by, and now we're gonna go to our consent agenda, item E here. So I'm looking for a motion to approve our consent agenda as printed.
I move we approve the consent agenda as written. Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Jackie and seconded by Yadira that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Is there any discussion? Okay, if you would like to approve the consent agenda as printed, as Jackie moved and Yadira seconded, please say aye. Aye. If not, please say no. Okay, thank you very much. That brings us to action items, F on our agenda, starting with approval of alternative education programs with Dale and Greg.
All right, thank you. So board policy IGBHA directs an annual evaluation and approval of our alternative programs available to students in the Hillsboro School District. I'd like to welcome Mr. Greg O'Mara, who is our Director of Alternative Education, and Linda Harrington, Principal of HOA, also in the audience. And Greg will be sharing about our different alternative programs, and at the end of this presentation, I would request that the board members approve the programs that we have.
Thank you for inviting me tonight. Packed house tonight. In front of you, I think what you were getting to was the PowerPoint, which just kind of walks us through the programs that are currently been offered. They really haven't changed over the past few years, so we go to the, am I in charge of the slides? There we go. And what I thought I'd do is break them down by location, which seems to be a little bit easier sometimes when we're trying to navigate downtown Hillsboro. So at the Miller Education Center West Campus, which is the old David Hill building, which will currently be under construction starting tomorrow. We have our Hillsboro Big Picture program, which is currently serving freshmen and sophomores. Our traditional model Miller Education Center currently serving juniors and seniors along with our teen parents. Our GED program. The Walnut Street Annex, which is actually on the same location but on a different street. We have our expulsion program for our middle school and high school students. Our transition programs for students that have been out of school and returning back into our system, and our fifth-year completion program. At our East Campus, which is at 6th and Washington, we have our Hillsboro in-school program and our Connect program, which are both grant-funded programs through the work systems. In fact, they actually serve all of Washington County. And then our ITS, Independent Transition Services program, is actually located on that site as well as CTS. Our Peter Bosco campus, of course, is our illustrious Hillsboro Online Academy, HOA. And then some other programs that are also in downtown Hillsboro or located on the district site as our home instruction opportunities, Parkins House, and Washington County Jail. And for our out-of-district options, of course, we always do a thing of OICP, our Oregon National Guard Youth Job Program, located in Bend, Job Corps, which has various locations, And then our 3 PCC programs, Yes to College, which is a GED-focused program, Gateway to College, which is a high school completion program, and then our early college program that we've participated in the past few years. So those are the programs that you're thinking about tonight, approving tonight. There are no changes from this year to next. And then just some highlights from this past year, not this current year, 2017-2018. We had 15 students at the Miller Education Center earn their diploma, 25 fifth-year seniors that returned to us and earned their diploma. And then we had 2 students in the Washington County Jail last year earn their diploma as well. At our West Campus, we had 55 students earn their GED. That's at currently 42. Currently we're at 49 as of today. Before the packages be turned in, probably. Washington County Jail, we currently have 12 students that earn their GED, and in the Connect program, 9. And the Connect program's changed over the past few years, where many students come to us with some sort of certificate in hand and just are getting job readiness training. So the Connect program, in theory, should see a decrease over the years in type of certificate earned, but work readiness skills, pathways to training increase. And then some developments from a few years ago to last year was we had an opportunity to make that transition to a more internship-based learning opportunity for the Miller site. And so we're in year 1.8 of that transition right now with our kids that are out in internships on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I know a few of them have attended board meetings regularly, although I don't see Dan here tonight. A well-deserved night off, I'm sure, for her parents. And then the Hip and Connect program has also changed significantly through the WIOA grant, and where the students choose one of 4 sector pathways, similar to our career pathways in Hillsboro. And they're health careers, construction, manufacturing, and technology. And we just recently this year were able to convince Multnomah County to bring one of those programs out to Washington County. And so they brought a portable construction site out to the East Campus for our students at East that were able to get their hands-on training, as opposed to going over to the east side, which is about an hour and a half tri-med ride for them. So really excited about that opportunity. That WIOA's presence and workforce systems presence is really dominant in Multnomah County, and we've just really been encouraging them to access Washington County more, and this was really the first step for them to take a risk there and come out, and it was a fabulous event for our young students. So with that said, it's a brief program. I'm willing to answer any questions.
We have a couple for you. Jackie. I want to thank you for including a description of each of the programs, because it was really nice to be able to read that while looking at the presentation, and then it helped me better understand what the programs were. I did have a question, and I did talk to Dale, so she knows what I'm going to ask, but the early college high school that we can do with PCC, now that's through, we get our seats from Beaverton. They coordinate that, correct?
Yes, we're in partnership with Beaverton to allow our students to access that program.
So is there a plan to increase that, the participation that we have in that program?
So it's an interesting question. So in working with Dale and Linda and Mike, we've made a commitment to keep that relationship with Beaverton, as well as trying to expand it through Linda's hard work and her counseling staff, and run our own version of it in Hillsboro. And what that has allowed us to do is maybe have a little bit more flexibility than going in step with the Beaverton model. For instance, is that a student that's in early college in Hillsboro may be able to take a class with Linda through HOA and access PCC. Where the typical program for the Beaverton model is that you want to enroll in your comprehensive high school and you you attend full-time at PCC. So that's our way to expand it right now. And I think the goal is to collect some data points at the end of the term and see how that went.
Okay, okay. So if they go to early college, high school, can they still can have extracurricular activities at their home high school, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
Multiple times in our conversations with students at the facility, I don't know, more delicate way to put it. They mentioned that the name Miller has a stigma and we're calling it Big Fish now. Is that getting traction? Do you see it? Are we like making progress in that direction?
I do. We just finished a third open house about a week and a half ago. And it was an interesting approach we took. So last year we went out to all the middle schools. We went to a couple of the comprehensive high school incoming freshman nights. We were recruiting, we had banners. We wanted to see what type of traction we had this year, and so we just simply asked Beth to post it on our website or on the district website, as opposed to going out to lunches in middle schools. We were standing room only. Martin was there for one, she was there for another. They can attest to the level of participation, and so it really shows us that we do have some good traction in the community. We have some traction outside of the community with families hoping that it's a charter school and not part of the Hillsboro School District. And they're very disappointed when we can't help a fee structure to it. I think we're able to serve the students in Hillsboro without having to seek outside district student population.
Could you expand a little bit on the part about the walnuts from the annex? Are those three options, or I'm not familiar with Pearl, or very loosely on the transition. I think I understand the 5-year, but could you say a little bit more about those?
Sure. So obviously our expulsion program is for students that have come to us because of some sort of violation of the code of conduct, the board policy. They go through the hearing process. It's determined that an alternative setting for a finite period of time needs to be provided for their education. One of those places is the annex. So they work not one-on-one, but a small group setting with one teacher in a one classroom setting to work on their academics that they have. They were taking at their own high school. We generally focus on their core curriculum since we can't replicate all of the electives. It's a half-day program for them. They have a hybrid learning model. Some of it's online, some of it's more direct instruction, depending on what the student needs. It is an interesting model because it could be grades 6 through 12 for the one teacher. So depending on who's in there at any given time, we use the hybrid model of online learning or individualized instruction. And sometimes we access the online curriculum, depending on, again, on the student's academic needs. So that's the Pearl program for middle school and high school expulsion. We hope that it's not well attended, of course. There's currently 24 students that have been in the program this year. We don't have 24 currently in the program. Because some of the expulsions could last 4 weeks, some of them could last an entire year. It just depends on the severity of the incident. So that's the Pearl program. The transition program is much more fluid. So the example I always like to give is a student is living in Arizona and moves to Oregon. They weren't accessing any education when they come in the 12th week of Glencoe's term. And it's very difficult to put them into Glencoe High School during the 12th week of their term, and they've been out of school. So Hillsboro School District provides a transitional placement for them, where they can come in, connect every day with the teacher, again, do some online learning or some direct instruction, and then at a more appropriate time, enter back into Glencoe High School, the semester or the following September.
Thank you. And I will attest the excitement that well, first of all, your format for your open house was way cool. It was a student and a parent. And it was powerful, really powerful, very effective. I was kind of blown away, to be honest with you. And the excitement, and it was a packed house. I attended the first one back in March, and this was awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Craig. Okay, so Dale was hoping that we would make a motion at this point, which you can find on page 43.
I move that the Board of Directors approve the district's alternative programs.
Second. It's been moved by Kim and seconded by Yadira that we approve the district's alternative programs. Is there any discussion? Martin?
Yes, let's see. Does this include HOA or that's not? Okay. My only comment would be, I was going to save this for my comments later, but there is a piece of legislation moving through the legislature that would have the effect of disenrolling hundreds and potentially thousands of students statewide over the issue of vaccinations. And I see, my personal opinion is it could be 1% of HSD, which would be 200 kids. And I see this, a lot of those landing in this world potentially with Linda in an HOA type setting. So I think we should just be kind of cognizant that, I know we're really not moving in those anti-vax circles, but the upshot of that legislation could really rock our world, maybe particularly in this aspect of our service delivery model. So it does bring to mind, do we want to look at, K1 and 2 in Linda's world? I've been a champion for that. I think Linda's been talking about it, but if there's going to be whole families and a whole segment of our community that's booted literally out of the buildings, what can we do as a district to try to ramp up for that? Because I think the legislature is actually going to do this, and it's going to be up to us as educators to figure out what does that mean. That's my only comment, Madam Chair.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, yep, Mark?
In that case, do we know what our legal obligation is to a student who's been told they can't come?
Yeah, that's what I'm typing right now. Unless someone else has it.
No, and I'm not sure, did Wendy Ramos share the vaccination rates with the board? Or do we need to get that info to you?
I think it was in an update. I know you guys saw it too, right?
I saw it too, but not, I can't remember what it was. And I'm not sure it was 200 students. I think it might have been
Well, no, most schools are like 99%.
Yeah.
So that's a rough.
We have an excellent rate, I know, but
Yeah.
I could do some research about what it is that we would do
Right.
in that case.
And I'm sure that probably some of those families would, if it were to pass, would vaccinate instead of not go to school. So it probably would be fewer, but nonetheless, it would be interesting for us to find out, could we offer the online school as an option to some of those families who wouldn't choose that path? That would be.
Well, it's interesting because our online program is a hybrid model.
Right.
So there would have to
Still a school.
probably adjustments made, right?
Yeah.
It's still a school.
Right, so I'd love to know what our legal obligation is if you're told you can't come to school under this bill.
I'm on it.
All right, wonderful. Thank you, guys. So it's been moved by Kim and seconded by Yadira that the Board of Directors approve the district's alternative programs. If you would like to approve the alternative programs, please say aye.
Aye.
If not, please say no. Okay, that passes. Thank you. Contract for substitute staffing services with Michelle. Any highlights for us?
No, other than we have conducted a pretty rigorous RFP process that we had a HR business office team involved with, and at the end of it, we are pleased to recommend to continuing service with ESS, who is our current sub-provider and who we have been using successfully since 2015.
Wonderful. Thank you, Michelle. All right, so I'm looking for a motion to approve this contract. You can find that on page 48.
I move that the Board of Directors approve the 36-month contract with an annual contract extension option between ESS West LLC and the Hillsboro School District to provide substitute staffing services as defined in the request for proposal and in compliance with district policy.
Second. It's been moved by Erica and seconded by Yadira that we approve this contract. Questions or discussion, Mark?
How many competitors were in the ring?
3.
So
We had.
just one and two others?
Yes. There's one provider called EduStaff who currently works with Lima ESD.
They provided a proposal and an interview with us as well. They don't really have an established regional office here, which was actually one of the concerns as we went through the interview process. And the other proposal that came in was from Teachers on Call, which is kind of a sub-company of Kelly Services, Kelly Temp Services, and they are too also trying to get established in the area. So.
Thanks.
Okay, all right, so it has been moved by Erica and seconded by Yadira that we approve the 36-month contract with an annual contract extension option between ESS West LLC and the Hillsboro School District to provide substitute staffing services as defined in the request for proposals and in compliance with district policy. If you would like to approve that contract, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. If not, please say no. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks, Michelle. That brings us to item number 3, student representatives to the board, which is the one that's not fully listed in our packet on page 49, but you can find in your little extra sheet there. So that's the motion that I'm looking for.
I move that the Board of Directors approve the interview team's recommendation that the following students be appointed on June 11th to serve as student representatives to the Board of Directors during the 2019-2020 school year. Andrew Goodwin from Glencoe High School, Maria Aguilar from Hillsboro High School, Amanda Danny Azima from Miller Education Big Picture Program.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Kim and seconded by Erica that we approve the interview team's recommendations. Is there any discussion or questions?
Big whoops.
Very exciting. Mark?
Yeah, we mentioned upstairs that we had 1 applicant from Glencoe, 1 applicant from Miller, and 3 from Hill High. We would have been remarkably served by any of the 3 from Hill High. It was a very tough decision. So I appreciate everyone participating in the process.
I would definitely echo that. It was a very tough
Very impressive group.
position. Okay, thank you very much. So it's been moved by Kim and seconded by Erica that the Board of Directors approve the interview team's recommendation that the following students be appointed on June 11th to serve as student representatives to the Board of Directors during the 2019-20 school year. Andrew Goodwin from Glencoe High School, Maria Aguilar from Hillsboro High School, Amanda Danny Azima from Miller Education Center Big Picture Program. If you would like to approve those recommendations, please say aye.
Aye.
If not, please say no. Okay, thank you very much. All right, you may recall that we removed item 4 from the action item list, so that brings us now to item 5, award the contract for Lad Acres water line. Casey, any highlights for us?
Yeah, nope, just as a reminder, this is part of the 2017 bond to do the replacement of Lad Acres. District, we followed our standard process and are recommending that we award the contract to 5 Star Builders for work to be completed this summer.
Wonderful. So I am looking for that motion, which is on page 66.
I move that the Board of Directors award the Lad Acres Domestic Water Line Repiping Project to 5 Star Builders, Inc. in the amount of $417,599.28.
Second. Okay, it's been moved by Jackie and seconded by Yadira that we award this contract. Is there any discussion or questions for Casey? Okay, seeing none, it's been moved by Jackie and seconded by Yadira that the Board of Directors award the Lad Acres Domestic Water Line Repiping Project to 5 Star Builders, Inc. in the amount of $417,599.28. If you would like to award that contract, please say aye.
Aye.
If not, please say no. Okay, wonderful. Okay, that brings us now to item number 6, the modification to the classified, which is what we were discussing upstairs, correct?
Correct. So thank you for taking time to do that. We just want to acknowledge our Hillsboro Classified Union and the collaborative work that we did together as a district to update and revise those job descriptions and classifications. And I'd like to move that the Board of Directors ratify the modification to the current collective bargaining agreement with the Hillsboro Classified United effective July 1, 2019 through June 30th, 2021 to implement the revised classified bumping chart and salary schedule as a result of the consolidation of the classified job descriptions.
Thank you very much, Hannah. Okay, so we can find that motion on page 68, and then we can ask any questions that we may have or discussion.
I move that the Board of Directors ratify a modification to the current collective bargaining agreement with Hillsboro Classified United effective July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021 to implement the revised classified pumping chart and salary schedule as a result of the consolidation of the classified job descriptions.
Second.
Okay, thank you. It's been moved by Mark and seconded by Kim that we ratify this modification. Is there any discussion or questions? I saw a name, but now the name is gone. Oh, Mark.
Well, I would just like to say this is just so wonderful. It's a dynamic workplace in a dynamic world, and it's just so wonderful that we can all get together and stay relevant and progress, and it's win-win. And I just love it. I'm really uplifted by this, so thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Okay. All right, so it has been moved by Mark and seconded by Kim that the Board of Directors ratify a modification to the current collective bargaining agreement with Hillsboro Classified United effective July 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021 to implement the revised classified bumping chart and salary schedule as a result of the consolidation of the classified job descriptions. So if you would like to ratify that modification, please say aye. Aye. If not, please say no. Okay, wonderful. Thank you very much, Kana and team. Okay, so the MOU with HEA with Mike, you need to make your name in alphabet soup so that matches.
Yeah.
Okay, and we can find that on page 69, but I think that Mike's going to walk us through some
Yeah,
stuff.
I'll just hit the highlights for you. On Monday morning, we acted to change the calendar so that we could begin communicating with our community around the May 8th day of action that's taking place. The MOA now needs to be approved. It's necessary because we are modifying the contractual agreement that we currently have with HEA, so we need to do a memorandum of agreement in order to make that happen. HEA has already acted on They've already acted on this. They've taken a vote and have passed it. Essentially, it says that May 8th is going to become a non-contract day. There are some exceptions to that for some of the licensed staff, and those are around IB and AP testing. Staff members will assist with those if necessary. We've got outdoor school taking place, so we will make sure that that is covered. And any extra duty contracts as related to the one-time competitions, they can't be made up. In addition to that, June 14th will be recaptured as a full student contact day instead of a half day. June 17th then will become a professional development day and work day for the licensed staff. They will come back for that. And then June 18th will be a day for work purposes for the staff. In addition to those specifics that are lined up there, the MOA does also include that this is a non-precedent setting, and that as a district we don't want this to be viewed as a support for the work stoppage around a particular issue. So those are also included in that, just to formalize that understanding. So I'm asking that you act on this and approve the MOA.
Thank you very much. So we can find that motion on page 69.
I move that the Board of Directors approve the memorandum of understanding with the Hillsboro Education Association.
Second.
Who was that? Did you guys do it at the same time? Is that why I couldn't tell? Okay, just Jackie. Normally I can tell. Okay. So it's been moved by Yadira and seconded by Jackie that we approve the MOU. Is there any discussion or questions? Okay. So it's been moved by Yadira and seconded by Jackie that the Board of Directors approve the memorandum of understanding with the Hillsboro Education Association. If you would like to approve the MOU, please say aye.
Aye.
If not, please say no. Okay, thank you very much. All right, so that brings us to our reports and discussion part of our evening. We are ready to hear from you, Olga. We're a little bit ahead of schedule, so perfect timing. Come on down.
Okay. So it is with great satisfaction that I introduce to you the CHICAS program. The CHICAS Youth Development Program has been around for 7-8 years now, and what the program does is provides mentorship, advocacy, and empowerment, amongst other things, to several hundred Latina young girls across the district. We have The program is situated at elementary, middle schools, and Hillsboro High School. 2 middle schools and 1 high school. With that, I would like to call Letty Aguilar, and she's right outside. Can somebody get her for me? Our proud Chicas director, Leticia Aguilar, brought a couple of parents that are going to be telling us a little bit more about the impact that Chicas has had in the lives of their young girls. Letty?
Yes, I did bring a whole crew with me, actually.
Please step forward.
They can come up and join it.
Come on up.
Good evening. Can you all hear me? So yes, my name is Leticia Aguilar and I am the Chicas Program Manager. And with me today I have our Family Engagement Coordinator, Esmeralda. We have Elizabeth, one of our parents. And then we have Abad, one of our Chicas participants. And we're actually waiting for another parent because we're running a little early, which is great. We get to go home earlier. So I'll get started and we'll just kind of wait until when the other parent wants here. Have her come up here. Put her on the spot too. So just to start off, I'll start by sharing a little bit about Chicas, and then we'll move on to have our parents and our students speak about their experience in our program. So Chicas is really, the vision of our program is to contribute to the holistic education and empowerment of our young Latinas and their families. And this is really with the purpose of strengthening communities by developing our local leaders. And of course, one of our main goals as the Hillsboro School District as well is that all of our students graduate and enroll in post-secondary education. And we actually do all of these by providing that support, the focus and the support and services to the entire family and not only our participants. And that's why our parents are here to share a little bit about that. So the way that we do this is by offering all of these different components in our program. The main component that we do have are the after-school sessions. We offer our services in 23 different schools. 10 of those schools are here in the Hillsboro School District, and that's serving about 276 students and their families. Hi, Yesenia, you can come up here. We're super early, so don't worry. You're not late. So our main component of our program, and this is Yesenia, are the after-school sessions. The after-school sessions are once a week after school for 90 minutes at, like I said, 10 different schools. And that's the main core of the component of the program. During these sessions, we talk about different topics. We follow research-based curriculum, the Girls Circle curriculum. And in this curriculum, we cover topics such as cultural identity, self-esteem, empowerment, also helping our girls be proud of who they are. Be proud of their culture. Oftentimes, some of the things that we see is our students don't want to speak their language outside of home. And so I understand as a Latina coming here as a teenager, I totally understand them. So we want to make sure that these girls are embracing who they are, that they are feeling proud, and they are able to speak their language outside of home, comfortable, feeling safe. So that's some of the things that we cover during school. During school as well, one of our main components is the college readiness. Like I said, that is the main focus, is that making sure that these girls graduate from high school and enroll in post-secondary. One of the ways that we do that is that every student participates in a college visit, regardless of what grade they are in, from 3rd to 12th grade. Every student will go to at least one college visit during the school year. And for the older girls, we actually have a savings account. So for every dollar they save, we match 3. So at the end of the term, 3-year term, they have $12,000 to go to college. Again, a lot of the families that we work with are low-income families. So, and they are also, about 80% don't have formal education. So they don't have the funds, and they don't have the knowledge to support their daughters through this process. So that's where we come in with the college readiness component by providing workshops, by providing college, introducing them to college, going to visits. And so a lot of these colleges, we actually not only take the girls, but we also invite the families. For example, May 11th, we're going to the Familia Weekend, OSU, and that's going to be a trip for not only the students, but also the entire family, mom, dad, siblings, anybody that's interested in coming is able to join that trip. A lot of the things that we do with our girls is community service. And that's not only within their school. One of the things that we definitely want to do in our program is that these girls feel connected to their school. I mean, they are in the school most of the day. So by them feeling connected, feeling like they belong there, they are going to want to be there. And not only getting them, once they are connected to their school, our priority is that they are giving back to their community. And understanding the importance of being actively involved in their community by doing community service projects with chicas or other organizations that we are partnered with. And the civic engagement is definitely a crucial part of our program. Like I said, we want to develop those local leaders, so we do that for our civic engagement. In our program, we actually have a youth leadership group and a parent leadership group. And through these groups, students and parents are gain more skills around civic engagement. And they also just learn more topics, more intense topics that they are interested in that they might not have learned during the sessions. One of the main components is definitely also family engagement. I think as a Latina, we all know, I know that for any student, especially in our culture, to be able to succeed, we need the entire family. And that's why we understand that they must be on board with whatever it is that we're doing with the girls. That's why we have a family engagement coordinator that does home visits. A lot of these home visits could be prevention home visits or intervention. A lot of the visits could also be just the families needing some extra resources from us. Some of the things that we do is we have an amazing collaboration with our liaisons at each of the sites where we are at. That's definitely something that we really focus on when we come to the schools, making sure that the schools know that we want to be part of their community. We don't want to be seen as an outsider. And so really building that relationship with the Latino liaisons at each site is crucial for us. So we work closely with the Latino liaison. If there is something that we observe in session, maybe a student is having issues, maybe a student is struggling, we check in with her and ask, is this something that you're also observing during school? How can we work together to create that bridge between the Latino liaison, the Chicas facilitator, and the family, and bringing that entire family back to the school so that there's a strong support group for the student, and it's not just her just receiving services from multiple different areas, and there's really no connection there. We also offer Soccer Academy, the STEM component in summer camps. One of the things that we realized about 7 years ago is that the students were staying home during the summer and there was really nothing going on for them. Parents wanted them to participate in summer activities, but of course we know everything's really expensive. And Soccer Academy, summer camps, everything is at no cost to them. So we decided to implement this Soccer Academy and summer programming for them. And the Soccer Academy is not really for the girls. Oftentimes girls are like, oh, I don't even know how to play soccer. I don't want to join because they automatically think it's competitive. So it's really for them to gain skills more on like healthy living, healthy lifestyles, and be active. The sport is not competitive, it's more recreational. And during the Soccer Academy, we also take advantage of having parents there. We have about 80 parents sitting there waiting for their daughters to practice, and we're like, why are we not doing anything with these parents that are sitting there? So we decided to do workshops. We try to take advantage of anything and everything. As a nonprofit, we're used to doing that. So we started incorporating also parent workshops during our Soccer Academy that also focus on what the girls were learning on the field. So if we were already teaching the girls about healthy lifestyles, healthy eating, even going out for walks, bringing reusable water bottles at the beginning of the academy, girls were just drinking water with plastic cups, and we say, okay, next time you need to bring your bottles. Also teaching them about the importance of taking care of their environment. And so with that, we do that with the family. So as easy as bringing somebody that can make healthy snacks for our families that they're able to make at home. Some easy snacks that they are able to make at home. We also let them know, and the chicas did not like us, is that they could not bring any energy drinks, no coffee, no Dutch Bros. One of the academies was right next to Dutch Bros 1 year, and they disliked us, of course. No Takis. So a lot of that, not like us. But it also went not only for the chicas, but also for the staff. So 1 year, I know I showed up with coffee to summer camps, and the girls all pointed it out. They said, we are not allowed to bring coffee, neither are you all. I said, absolutely. So we are very strict about our healthy lifestyles and making sure that we are modeling that for our girls so that they can see that whatever we are saying or teaching them, we are also following that with them. And the STEM component is something that we are slowly growing into. As you might be aware, we are partnering with Hillsboro School District also. We received a grant to implement more STEM programming during the sessions, but mostly during our summer camps. We host 3 weeks of summer programming at Pacific University. We bring about 80 students from 9 to 3:30 p.m. and the girls learn about different topics, one of those being STEM, the other one's healthy lifestyles, and the other one's arts and culture, and expressing yourselves through the use of art. And during this camp, our focus is that every workshop that they participate in has to be hands-on. So we definitely don't want the girls coming and sitting there being lectured. Everything must be hands-on. So I'll hurry up. Here are some of our impacts. So as I said, we have 276 participants as of right now. And for the past 7 years, we have had 100% of our seniors graduate from high school. And as of last year, we had 100% college enrollment, but as of right now, we have 95%. And that's one of the things that we like to, for example, we had a student that enrolled in college last year, but we checked with her and she said, I'm actually not in college. And we were shocked, but she realized that it wasn't something that she wanted to do. So then we figured out a way that we were still providing that support to her because we want her to understand that she wasn't failing. We want her to find her own success. So what does that look like? If it's not a 4-year college, what is it that she wants to do? So we are still in contact with her, providing that one-on-one support. Her facilitators supporting her. So really just still providing that support to students that maybe don't want to go to 4-year university, college. And of course, family engagement, 80% of our parents report an increase in effective communication with their daughters and also more engaged with their daughter's school. Here are some of the things that we have been doing. Those are all the schools where we are at. We have done so far 11 parent workshops, and a lot of these workshops have also been done in collaboration with a lot of the great people here in Hillsboro School District. Our Latino liaison have been supporting us with some of these workshops. And of course, we have done all of those college field trips so far, a lot of bonding trips. I just checked earlier before I left, and we have done 24 bonding trips so far. So that's a lot. We couldn't believe it. With the facilitator, we were like, why has this year been a little chaotic? And we checked, we have done 40 trips, and 24 of those have been here with Hillsboro School District. So it's amazing because these girls get to be introduced to things that otherwise they would not be able to do. I know, for example, the University of Washington trip, that was an amazing experience for the girls because it's the first time they do an overnight trip. So for them and for the families, which it took a lot of convincing them to understand that it is okay for them to do an overnight trip. That was definitely a highlight for them this year. Here's a quote from one of the girls. And I will let our parents speak. That was their last trip when it was nice and snowy up there. I definitely don't go to those, by the way. I stay here. Do you have questions for me, or are we ready for our parents and our students?
Okay, yeah, let's ask questions at the end, okay?
Okay, awesome. We can have, go ahead, please.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Esmeralda Sanchez, and I am fortunate enough to be the Family Engagement Coordinator for the Chicas program. I'm very blessed to be working with amazing people. Today, we are going to have 2 of our awesome parents that are super involved. They're part of our leadership group as well. And I want to also thank, gracias por venir a ustedes también, las madres que están sentadas aquí apoyándonos. There's 2 other moms that are part of the leadership group and advice as well. But I want to introduce 2 moms. Elizabeth Garcia will be speaking, and Yesenia Ramos will be speaking about their experience with the program and how, what they want to share with you. So thank you for having us today.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Elizabeth García Romero.
Good evening, my name is Elizabeth Garcia Romero.
Estoy aquí porque tengo a mi hija en el programa de chicas.
I am here because I have my daughter in the Chicas program.
Este programa lo he escuchado desde hace aproximadamente 5 años atrás. Me ha interesado tanto que siempre soñé de que mi hija debería aprovechar y participar de estas oportunidades que el programa ofrece.
This program I've heard about since 5 years back. I've been very interested in it, and I've dreamed of the day that my daughter would be able to take advantage of and participate in the opportunities that this program offers.
Mi comadre me ha hablado de este programa y el año pasado la hija de ella llegó a la universidad. Ella dice que este programa la motivó y ayudó tanto a que llegara a la universidad.
My co-mother of my daughter talked to me about this program last year and all of the opportunities that her daughter had and helped her go to the university.
Por fin, el año pasado mi hija entró a este programa, pero lamentablemente ella llega tarde porque la tengo que recoger de su escuela Pointer para llevarla a chicas en Evergreen.
Finally, last year my daughter entered into this program, but sadly she gets there late because I have to pick her up at her school Pointer and take her to the Chicas program at Evergreen.
En poco tiempo estoy mirando gran motivación y más empeño de mi hija en sus clases.
In little time, I have seen a lot of motivation and a more effort on my daughter's side in all of her classes.
También lo que está pasando es que la timidez que la dominaba, ahora ella lo está venciendo.
Another thing that is happening is her shyness that was very dominating of her is now something that she's able to overcome.
La comunicación de mi hija hacia mí también está creciendo.
The communication with my daughter and myself is something that is also changing.
Gracias a este gran programa de chicas, mi hija se mantiene ocupada y planeando los eventos que Chicas ofrece.
Thanks to this great program, Chicas, my daughter keeps herself busy and plans the events that Chicas offers.
Buenas noches, gracias.
Good evening, thank you.
Hi, my name is Yesenia. So my daughter is Ariana. She's in 6th grade and she attends currently Chicas at Ridgeville Elementary School. We came to know about Chicas through the soccer academy, so I know about the healthy stuff. I was part of the workshops. It was the first time attending, so it was nice to see that they also have workshops for parents and that they invited us to stay there. Within them we had Zumba and yoga and some other fun stuff that I'm looking forward to this year as well. Within the program, there's a leadership parent program that I'm part of with other parents. We're trying to find a way to involve more parents because we know that it's very important that once a parent gets involved in the child's education, that they have a better chance of being good in life and not only the career. Another thing is that we want to involve families because if we all work together and advocate for our kids, I think they feel empowered as well, not only the parents but the kids to know that our mom and dad are there for us no matter what happens in school, no matter what the grade. We are here. And I'm just happy to be in this program. Thank you.
And now we have one of our South Meadows participants. He's also going to provide her testimony. Come on up. This is Kimberly.
Good afternoon. My name is Kimberly Abad and I'm a chica at South Meadows Middle School. Today I wanted to talk about how Chicas has had a big impact in my life and some of the cool things we do in Chicas. So in Chicas we have college field trips and those college field trips have been really like a big inspiration for me and other Chicas to go to college in the future. And some fun activities we do in Chicas are participate in like cooking and just having fun and hanging out. And something really like important and that impacts us Chicas is that we have to go out there and speak about it because Chicas is a really nice organization that us girls can be part of, and this program has helped me go out and speak to my community and see what they want for us to make this a better future. And Chicas has been there in all my needs. Thanks to Chicas, I know that one day I would go to college and I would be an inspiration for my parents. And thank you.
Well, do you have any questions for us?
We do. Jackie first?
Go back to the slide where it shows the number of students and how many is graduation, is 100%? Yeah.
Yes.
That's just Hillsboro?
Yes, those students are just here in Hillsboro. We serve over almost 700 students in the Washington County.
Amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
I just wanted to point that out because that is.
You know, and it really takes a lot of effort, and I gotta highlight again the importance of having strong relationships within the district. I think having a good reputation and working closely with our Latino liaisons who are the ones helping us also identify those students who need the support, and otherwise they might not be reaching out to us. So that's definitely something that's helped our growth. Thank you.
Martin?
I've been through pre-orchards in particular, Principal Karen toured me through, and it was just awesome. I just can't get over how exciting it was to have a library full of kids just buzzing with activity. So it's a game changer. I couldn't be more enthusiastic about the work of the Chicas program. And I just want to put in a word for Adelante Mujeres generally. It's just a rock star of a nonprofit doing amazing work all over the county, and really the benchmark organization. And anything we can do as a district to partner up and to grow that relationship is fantastic. And I just want to give you my
Thank you.
praise.
Yes, we truly value your words, and again, we truly value the true partnership that we have here. It means a lot. It makes a big difference when we are ready to start a program, when we have any new projects. Knowing that, for example, the STEM grant, the Intel grant, where they want to reach out to us and say, we want to partner with you, that really means a lot, and it shows the reputation that the program has. Thank you.
So I had a couple of questions, and maybe Olga, you can also chime in if you have the answers. But so one was with the leadership in the parent program. Is there an opportunity that crosses over with our PAC?
To some degree, that has already been happening. In almost all of the schools that have a Chicas program, we have family medicine that we mentioned earlier, they partner with. And so they not only to work with families, but also to co-facilitate the Chicas program.
I'm wondering if there's an avenue for promoting that leadership so that then they can, come over and volunteer in communities, and especially for us that we also want to see that participation. Is there something that we can do to facilitate that transition from that leadership program into our district?
Definitely, I can see, as I said, we're growing that relationship. This year, I want to say that was definitely our strongest year in terms of collaborating in the family engagement. I know Dora has done an amazing job with keeping us engaged in anything that the school district is doing, and we definitely take advantage of it. So if there's other opportunities for us to continue growing that relationship, we're more than happy to do it. We're always recruiting more parents in our parent leadership group. Right now, we have about 15 of them. So if we can get more, that's always great, so that we can continue growing.
Okay. And then another question that I had was, you mentioned that student that college wasn't the right fit. I know that a lot of the work that we're also doing is on, colleges or your pathways. And so what is the Chicas program thoughts in regards to trades, and especially that there's a big demand for women?
Absolutely. Every year we definitely try to focus and support the students that are not interested in 4-year college and taking them to different field trips that introduce them to that field. We do partner with the Women in Trades Fair, so we try to also bring the girls to those opportunities. We do have a grant as well through careers, but with Portsmouth School District, and we are also able to bring those options during our summer camps. So the STEM camp is fully focused on that as well.
And I guess my last question, I
Yes.
didn't ask it, but is there anything that Adelante Mujeres, because I mean, most of us that have mothers, we also have sons, and this is a big concern. I know it's not 100% for our boys too.
Absolutely, I have 2 boys. So my kids, actually, my youngest one, my 5-year-old, says when he's older, he's going to be a Chicas facilitator. He's like, he comes to all the field trips with me, so he loves the Chicas program.
I am there with you. I know Adelante Mujeres currently doesn't have that focus as we work with empowering women and we don't have the capacity. But I know other schools have started. I know Baylor just started something similar, and the boys loved it because I knew like half of the boys in there, and they were super excited to have Chicos. I know Tom Collins Sports Club started Chicos. I would love to see a Chicos, and I told my older son, my preteen, that I could help him look into something because I have been asked quite a bit about Chicos. So if you want to do something, let me know. Any other questions?
So thank you so much all for taking.
No, thank you, and definitely thanks to our participants.
We are now at the 2035 community plan update.
That's pretty clear.
You know, my co-host. I'm EJ Payne, or Lisa Rodriguez, from the Hillsboro Downtown Partnership, and Beth and I are both on the outreach team for the Hillsboro 2035. She's been involved a lot longer with the community planning for the city of Hillsboro, so she might have more answers than I do. But I will tell you why I think it's so important as we go through this presentation. Go ahead. Yeah, I'll just give them.
We haven't really rehearsed it, so we'll just kind of ad-lib. But yes, so hopefully all of you know that this whole process of having a community plan started way back in the 90s and making us kind of having a long history in this game. But we launched our first plan in 2000, and it was the Hillsboro 2020 Vision and Action Plan. And it was this grandiose idea for the future of Hillsboro and what our residents wanted our community to look like 20 years down the road. And just a very great process of involving the entire community, involving feedback from all sectors of the community, and then kind of organizing those thoughts and ideas into buckets and assigning lead partners that would have some backbone support from the city of Hillsboro, but not a city plan, a community plan, and just like I said, a really great way to just kind of consolidate all of those great ideas about what we wanted our community to look like.
And then as you can see, we finished this plan, the first plan was done 5 years early, like everything was checked off, so really like moving through it. And I think it's key to having all those partners involved in it, and also that it was ideas that came from the community, not city staff coming up with ideas after going to conferences. It was really things that people in our community saw that we needed.
Right. So the structure really is based on a 20-year vision, and then there are these 5-year update cycles. And because we finished the 2020 plan, we knew we were on track to finish by 2015. We are already now almost 5 years into the Hillsboro 2035 plan, which is why we're talking to you today, because we're just getting ready to launch the 5-year update process. So some of the things that you see we were able to accomplish under the 2020 plan: Civic Center Plaza, various community gardens, Brookwood Library, Hondo Dog Park is always a really popular one that gets brought up. So these are things that didn't exist before the plan was developed. I think even the Latino Community Festival was born out of that first plan. So now it's in its, 19th?
Tuesday Marketplace was built, came out of that first plan too. So have you ever seen the plan? Have you all studied up? Right, okay. So now as we move forward with this next update to the plan, it's really hard for me to say.
That's okay.
Okay. So what we're doing is we're going out and making sure that we're in the community asking for updates. It's the coolest thing about this plan is that anyone in our community can make an idea that makes it all the way to the top and gets implemented. That's what Hondo Dog Park was. I actually realized that we just became a Tree City USA, and I actually submitted that last time. I probably wasn't the only one, but like I wasn't civically involved in Hillsboro yet. I just wrote it down at an event, and it actually happened. So we really are looking at ways to get out to everyone in our community and come up with the ideas that are going to that we can implement over the next 10 to 20 years, 10 to 15 years. And so with our outreach team, we have a variety of people from throughout the community and education. We have some economic leaders. We have some students from the YAC on the committee, which are trying to take it to all the high schools and get out to the students, because we all know that a lot of great ideas come from students.
Yeah, so with the 2035, the big plan redevelopment, there was more intensive work. It took place over a span of 2 years, and that involved some of the, we hired consultants that helps us out, and he helped subsets of the committee go out to, places like the school district and meeting with the superintendent and members of the superintendent's cabinet, or to local businesses, meeting with their CEOs and executives, kind of having that level of conversation, doing some research and getting a snapshot of the community, having some data behind that, and then getting those broad swaths of pieces of input from the broader community. There were over 5,000 different people who participated in providing ideas, thoughts, and feedback to this process. Once all those were gathered, then the theme teams were created to kind of comb through the ideas that were related to that subject area, and then action plans were formed based on those ideas that really were vetted out to kind of rise to the top and had the most support behind them. Interesting fun fact for you is that out of those 5,000 suggestions, the number one suggestion that came out for all the different sectors of the plan were to lower class sizes in the Hillsboro School District. So we're still working on that one. Fortunately, we have some more years to go, and we've got some promising legislation on the horizon, so we'll see what we can do about that.
Did that plan come with a donation?
Yeah, that plan did not. The school district was listed as a partner. Not yet, Ken. So, I don't know, would you like to see your mission statement? This is our mission statement. Hillsboro is a diverse, sustainable. In 2035, Hillsboro is a diverse, sustainable city known for success in blending urban lifestyle, a world-class local economy, agricultural heritage, and a welcoming, family-friendly community for an outstanding quality of life. It's a pretty big thing to aspire to, but this is Hillsboro, so we know we can do it. These are the categories that Beth was talking about that we're broken down into. And actually, I think environmental sustainability now has its own advisory group because it's such a big topic and so many places for us to move forward in our community. So the group that has started with the plan is the city's kept living throughout this time and then kind of boosted up with each 5-year update. All right, well, there's some of our lead partners, and you'll see that Hillsboro School District is among them. Some of our project areas in the past, besides just lowering class size, but have also been to increase STEM programming, access to local and healthy food options in our cafeterias, after-school programming, and different things like that. So we've, over the years, had lots of different actions that we've worked on, and they've been all aligned with things that are in our strategic plan and our mission statement for students. So. What's really interesting in giving this presentation with Beth without rehearsing is that she really wants to tell you all the ways that this is matching up with the school district, and I really want to tell you how all the people at the school district contribute to the plan. So we're the perfect match. The in and the out of this community plan update. So this really is a year-long process. Back in March, they opened up the community survey tool, and feedback is going to be accepted through August. And then the data will be sorted. It'll be put back out for public review. It's kind of an input, vet, output, get more input type situation. And then the plan will be formed, and back in about 9 months from now, it'll go before the city council for their ultimate adoption, and then we'll be rolling for our next 5 years. So through this community outreach portion, this survey is available online, and it's not really a survey, it's just enter your idea and submit it, as many as you'd like, and there's a $250 gift card that will be at least one, one, so will be awarded, pulled from that pot to be gifted to somebody. But this is an opportunity for people to go on. The survey lists those 5 categories to kind of give people an idea and start the conversation. But what we really want to do is either have people find the outreach team at events or at meetings, or to go onto the website and submit their ideas. So if you have any opportunities within your circles that you'd like to have the outreach team come and do presentations to a larger group, prepare to hand out those flyers, or hand out the surveys, the cards that we can fill in right then and there, or that would like, people would just like to know more questions, because sometimes it has to be starting the conversation that actually gets people's ideas rolling. Please let us know about that, and we can help facilitate that.
And getting feedback from our Spanish-speaking community has been a huge push. And I see Luis Nava here, and I know you've played a big part in that data collection. Do you want to say anything about getting feedback from our Spanish-speaking community members, or?
Well, yeah, it was very, well, as you know, Hillsboro has a big number of Latinos, but also Hillsboro being in the middle of Beaverton and Forest Grove, etc. Everybody comes to this area and do shopping in Salvador, and they are very familiar with the Latino Festival and all the events that we have. And so for that reason, we are having a lot of input from the Latino community. And as Beth mentioned, one of the key issues was education, and into education was class sizes, you know. And the other issue was the openness from the school perspective to the parents, you know, to the families. They want to be welcome. And aside of that, most of the comments, etc., was about the extending the max hours, the climate lines, and more security in the parks where our kids are playing, you know, especially since our state passed the marijuana recreation thing, you know. Now it's difficult to bring our kids to the parks because the air is different now. So, yeah, those are concerns from the community. And as you know, our school district is one of the biggest in the state, and whatever happens in our cities is reflected in our schools. So that's is the deepening that exists. So whatever comments that the city get to the community is good to share with the school also, you know, to be aware of what's going on in our neighborhoods.
Well, thank you for your efforts, and I know there'll be a presence definitely at the Latino Cultural Festival. They're going out to M&M Marketplace and trying, I think they're being really purposeful about trying to get to where there are large concentrations of Latino folks who could provide input to make it easy for them to make sure their voice is heard in this process. So,
and that's what we hear is just, I mean, the same thing that you're here is just the difficulty of getting some of the population that aren't civically engaged already, no matter what background they're from, to know that their voice really does matter in this process, that ideas can come from anywhere in our community. And we're also really, it's really important to know that, especially with this update, I don't know if I've done in the past, is we're going out to the employers in our community, because we know that the workforce that comes here has a big impact on the community while they're here. And maybe we can find ways to also stop the giant commute back and forth, like to help people find ways to live here, reasons to live here and not commute. So we're going out to them. We're also, like you said, it's not just about the people that live here, but it's also about the people that use Hillsboro, especially when we have families that are connected throughout our region coming here, because parks or dog parks or whatever it is mean something to us and our extended family that come into Hillsboro.
water park comes up a lot, so that would be very exciting.
I love water. Oh, you mean like the slide?
Yeah. So, are there any questions about this update process?
Do you have some questions? We'll start with Kim.
Mine are mostly comments because I've had the privilege of serving on the committee, both in it was in the last phase of renewal and then in the 2035. So just to board members, if you have an opportunity, because there always is an education component, or if there's another passion you have, it was a really great learning experience for me, and it was a great way for people who aren't always connected to education to also learn about what we were doing. And I think the challenge will continue to be, and I don't know the solution, so I'm going to leave you all with the question, but if class size in education is the #1 priority of the city, and the city doesn't fund education, where can we continue to partner? Where can the city continue to help with that? They were really great partners in bond advocacy when we were going out for the bond. Can they give us dollars? Can they give us time? Like, what are those places so that, because the community really charged the city with solving that, and it's something that can't be solved by any of the partners on the list. So where do we find places for them to help us solve that, or to help them, help us message why they can't solve that? Because that may be something that they're not, right? They were really proud in 2020 that they were able to check off every single box. What if they can't check off that box because the appropriate party is not able to do that? So how can we help solve that?
And I think that's something through outreach that we really are encouraging people to not just put down their ideas, but put down, at least in the face-to-face outreach, is really put down also like suggested partners or bigger organizations that can support, you know, a change or an increase in some sort of service that we have. So, like I said, we get lots of requests for dog parks, you know, put the place you want it to be. It's the same sort of thing. Like if you guys know that there's partners or there's other cities that we can model after the relationship between the city and the school district, like that's a really good examples to throw into the hat, because then we can make sure that they get reviewed during the plan review process.
So I know the website link where you can go in, is that also available in Spanish so that people can?
Yeah, it's Hillsboro 2035. When you go on, it has a immediate Spanish link on it.
And are we sharing that also with our own, like in our
Actually, it went on Hot News in March when the whole thing opened, but I'll reiterate it.
promote like a link or something like it?
Yeah.
Because it's ongoing until August.
Yeah.
But we just listened to the Chicas program and how they're doing a lot of workshops or civic engagement, and this would be a great opportunity for support and also for feedback. I don't know if there's a chance for a presentation or something that can happen, that would be awesome. And then the other thing I have a question about, escaped my mind right now, because there's something about it.
Let's go through the member. Mark?
You kind of hit on it at the end, I think. It's, you know, there are a lot of people in the Hillsboro School District who have great work from their hearts for the city of Hillsboro, but might have an Aloha address, you know, asking for a friend. But I appreciate that outreach extends beyond the city borders, like you mentioned, with the workforce that comes in with it, so I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
there's somebody who grew up in Aloha and couldn't go to either Beaverton or Carlton Hills or Hillsboro stuff. Add that to the list, right? Like adopt Aloha.
We had that conversation earlier today, like, what Aloha wants to be incorporated, but adoption is a different thing.
Thank you both so much.
I remember, it was not a question, but so in regards to the outreach part, I know that we don't have a lot of culturally specific nonprofits in Washington, period. And in Hillsboro, it's even smaller. So I know that there's some that do service or are trying to service one year, like a panel with our Asian Pacific Island community, and making sure that we're reaching out to those partners and ensuring that we get that feedback.
Okay, we'll pass that on. We have an outreach meeting next week and we can take those ideas, especially reaching out to Chicas. I think we talked a little bit about Lincoln Paris.
Yeah, they're not a partner there, but they service our area.
Yeah, and I think it, again, like those lines are out, there aren't very many that service just Hillsboro. They are Washington County wide, so you can only get so much of their attention or partnership here, but I think that those are good things to have on the list. I do know that one of the suggestions when I was out doing outreach the other night was somebody who was talking about an organization from the region she is in that supports immigrants from the region she's from in Mexico that's in San Francisco, and so she wrote down the name and said they would be willing to help create that same organization here in Hillsboro. So I think even little things like that could go a long ways. And I think that the cultural representation or cultural pride from all the diverse populations we have is something that has a lot of room to grow in this plan. Thank you. Hillsboro2035.org. Submit as many ideas as you want.
That brings us to the strategic plan update.
After the meeting.
I'm like, are you drumming over there or are you typing? That's the typing. That's some very aggressive typing. I might as well just stay up here. And be the Vanna of this next presentation, which is our strategic plan update. So this is your Q3 update. And we did take the suggestion to heart, which was to provide a little bit more information in the status column to talk about, okay, well, in progress doesn't tell us a whole lot, so if you're able to provide more, if you please could. So we have done that, or tried to do that where we can. Sometimes where it's related to testing results, it's a little difficult to do that, but it's possible, and not to put words in Dale or Travis's mouth, but if they know anything about kind of interim assessment status, maybe they could share that with us. But so our goal 1 is to train 100% of secondary school administrators, counselors, and grad coaches on how to use our new system in Synergy that allows us to track name, strength, and need data for our students, and how to use the groups, drop-down menus, and how to track all of that. And so our status on that is that 88% of that is completed, so we are well on our way to having that one done. And there's actually quite a bit of information in the status category here. There's group data, and there's race and gender data that's available, and staff are being trained on how to enter that data. The specific people at each secondary school who manage that are being trained to do so. I'll just look at you for a high sign if there's anything you want to add.
And at this point, I talked to Ryan Petrick about this one today. We're looking at data sets that we can draw so we can see correlations, like folks who participated in this activity are getting this attendance rate or are showing GPA of this. So the dream here would be to be able to see what kinds of programs get kids engaged and show positive outcomes. So that's a future step. Right now, we're trying to get everybody trained in how to use it and how to input the proper fields. Thanks, Beth.
Yes. I guess what I cannot do from here is scroll a web page. So Diana is going to do that for me, or bring me the keyboard. So I can tell you, let's see, increased by 10% the number of students accessing internships or participating in career-related learning opportunities. And that one is compiled based on chamber data, because the chamber does house the school to career group that helps place all of our students in internships and career-related learning experiences. So we won't necessarily have that. Thought I was in good shape, but I'm not. That's okay. We'll still figure this out. So that data set we won't have until after the end of the year. However, lots of great stuff going on, as you know, because of Brooke Nova's wonderful report outs that you get. Those of you who are on the CCP steering committee have heard about all of the various wonderful things going on as it relates to career and college learning, extracurricular opportunities, and things of that nature. We've had lots of career days and different things that our students have been participating in, and more to come with exciting programs like aviation and avionics coming on board in the near future, so that is exciting. Our third goal is to offer PD for our 200 classified staff on trauma-informed care and wellness. And that one is complete. Yay, very exciting, because our trauma-informed care program is very important to us and is very successful. And any of you who have toured our wellness rooms or seen that in action, hopefully you've been equally as convinced of how effective that is for our students.
I would just
And
say, Beth,
staff.
shout out to Grant Corliss for the work in August, and then also Arsema and Becky for the work with like the classified summit that they do, and the amount of connection between our classified staff and that training on trauma responsive practices. So.
Yeah, and you'll see in the details of that classified summit, we almost hit 200 just in that session alone. That's kind of a mid-year opportunity for staff to come, and it's sort of like a mini conference, so they get to choose their different topics based on what they've asked and what their needs have been up to that mid-year point. So very well attended.
Yeah, and that was the keynote of Jim Sporlever.
Yeah, we had quite a few people come, certified and classified in the summer, come listen to Jim Sporletter. He's the gentleman who was the lead on the Paper Tigers movie from Walla Walla. And so some of them said, oh my gosh, that's so amazing, could he come again? So we invited him and he was able to come, thanks to Grant's facilitation as well.
So goal number 4 is to increase by 5% the number of students from historically underserved groups that are on track to graduate by the end of their 9th grade year. And again, this one's a tough one until we have grades and test data and things like that from SBAC, which is just kind of getting started.
And we are monitoring that. The school teams are doing an amazing job. We've had 2 of our schools host other schools to come through the ESD to see their 9th grade on track data. One of our high schools at midpoint had 4 students total off track. Just let that soak in for just a second. 4 off track total, which doesn't mean they're going to end up that way, but halfway mark is pretty impressive. So just the collaboration between the counselors, the grad coaches, the teachers, the administrators, it's amazing. So we're really proud of the work there. And as a matter of fact, the illumination in our mid-year data dig with all of our administrators, they were like, wow, this is so great. And we need to do a better job supporting our sophomores. So now there's been conversations between the freshman teams and the sophomore teams to say, what are we doing and what could we do better? Because, freshmen were like, yes, and then sophomore, junior, and then senior, we really got to get you, but we need to just hold them all the way through. So proud of our work in our high schools.
All right, and goal 5 is about math, because math is a tough area, and we are saying that we are going to increase our SBAC math scores by 3% overall and 5% for historically underserved groups this year, as opposed or versus last year. Once again, for this one, in progress, and we're going to monitor the SBAC scores as they begin to come in.
Yep, and we're excited about our K-6 math adoption. We're hearing great things now that we're fully Bridges 2 edition. Lots of PLC work. Kelly's done some incredible work. Kelly Petrick supporting middle school and our high school teams have done quite a bit of work in their PLCs and just data tracking. So it's been great that we have additional 98 funded 1.0 at every one of our high schools. So they've been doing everyday algebra, and then this year they've expanded to everyday geometry in most of our schools just because we feel like they're coming in stronger. So we're hoping that all shows up in our SBAC scores. We've had a lot of conversations about best practices and testing. So it's testing season.
Okay, and finally, we have increasing by 5% the number of highly effective strategies that are observed by our administrators as they're doing classroom walkthroughs. And it looks like that collection window just closed. Of course, we have the time lag between when we need to get this stuff posted and when certain dates occur. So I don't know if Dale's had a chance to debrief with anybody yet, but that data will be forthcoming. So, questions about how we're doing on our SMART goals? Mark?
I know it's not like one-to-one related, but is there a correlation? How does the PACS program integrate with our sort of trauma informed care in any way? Like, is there? They feel somewhat connected, but I don't know if it's really connected.
I'm going to let Grant talk a little bit about that because I think you have the best talking points around it.
So how PACS coordinates with trauma informed care?
Yeah.
So one of the foundational pieces of trauma informed care is consistent adult responses, predictability, routines and rituals, So those are things that we know need to be in place in classrooms. And PACS is one of those systems that fits and ticks several of those boxes. So kids have predictability when they walk in the room, they get rewarded for positive behavior, and so it's a routine, it's a ritual, it's highly predictable classroom, and then it just kind of lowers their anxiety level and hopefully we keep them in the green zone all the time.
I would also add to that too, Brooke Nova, in another area of awesomeness for her, has got another team coming together around universal supports for students K-12. And that question has been asked another way, which is, how do PACS and trauma-informed care and PBIS strategies play out K-6 and then help students transition to middle school with AVID and the other types of climate and culture things that go on in secondary? And so we're articulating kind of what are those foundational pieces and then the next layers of intervention for students, so we have a K-12 system. So that's a big, that brings together everyone from SROs to school counselors to teachers and PACS experts in this room. I'm saying this, I'm visualizing it happening right here because it's a big group of people who have a committee to answer that question ongoing.
Right, I think we have some evidence of kids transitioning successfully from a PACS program to middle school, wondering where's PACS, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They became, dependent's the wrong word, but like accustomed to these, this is like the system we're using.
Teens original, yeah.
They do miss it, some miss it when they get to middle school, right?
Yep. Except that the program names change, but those values and kind of the research that goes behind it takes shape in different ways. So what we're trying to do is streamline the transition so that teachers from 5th and 6th grade through 7th and 8th, for example, can hand kids off more smoothly and with similar supports. Check in, check out might look the same for an elementary school counselor and a middle school grad coach. So who does those routines with the students who need that level of support?
And I know it's just a few stories, but that sort of sense of ownership, like the students feeling like we made these rules, we need to abide by these rules, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think the few stories I heard were that the middle school students missed that sense of ownership, I guess.
I think the other added thing that we're starting to see is just as you teach those self-regulatory behaviors, teach a student to notice physiologically how they're feeling and then what they do to kind of regain control. That's something that we're talking about K-12 as well.
Mine's again a comment. I just wanted to pause again on the high school that had 4 students not on track, right? And I want to celebrate, and I want to say to our community, you get what you pay for. And the magic in that is graduation coaches and counselors. Guess what? Our results are not going to look the same when Beth is here next spring giving those results. And so no one should be disappointed when the results look different, when the investment doesn't match. And so again, challenge to you all, I'm going to keep giving you all my motherly advice. Don't lose sight of that when people are angry next spring and saying, how come your test scores dipped? How come you have fewer kids graduating? How come you have, because you didn't give us the dollars to invest in those programs. We know what the right investments are. That is amazing evidence. 4 kids in a high school in a 9th grade cohort who are not on track is shocking. I wouldn't have assumed that we could have got that good of results. And so I'm so, on the flip side of that, frustrated that these things that we know are working are now on the chopping block. And that number is not going to be the same next year. Teachers can only do so much magic, and we know that we need all those other adults to help do that piece. And so we're only accountable for what they give us. You get what you pay for.
And Kim, I really appreciate that. I think one of the things that we keep talking about at high school is keep your dreams on paper, keep your plans, write down what works, and tell people we're pausing on things that we can't do. We're not giving up on it. We're hoping for Measure 98 fully funded. We're hoping for all these reinvestments, but we do know. I mean, every year we learn more and more about what works, and we want to do great things for our kids. So thank you for that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That brings us to the financial report and budget development update. Michelle.
Thank you. Yeah, I did actually just want to touch on the budget development process because we originally had this evening scheduled for a budget committee update, and I'm sure who would be in attendance and have interest. But just to let you guys know that we are moving forward with our staffing plans as we discussed at our April 16th meeting. We'll let you know about that. Probably the only other thing I'd like to point out is that I've added a component of interest earnings by fund at the bottom of the worksheet report. And so that kind of covers us as far as our capital investment policy for the quarterly interest report, but I thought that this just kind of aligns with what you're viewing already. And so it'd be good to have this listed here. The general fund interest earnings match what's up and above in the revenue for the general fund. And then debt service fund, most excitingly, the capital projects fund, as we watch those interest earnings grow. They do have to be used within the fund that they're earned, especially capital projects, and that's been already calculated into the contingency funds that Adam is overseeing. So it's just coming along nicely, and I just wanted to point out that it's been added.
Thank you. Any questions for Michelle? Okay, thank you very much.
Sorry.
Oh, just kidding. Mark?
On the budget update process, you shared some information with us. Can you sort of get some highlights on?
Yeah. So the House Bill 3427 made it out of committee yesterday and will be voted on as early as tomorrow on the House floor, which is a really big deal. And how they finally got it out of committee was tweaking that commercial activity tax to the place where Oregon Business and Industry has agreed to not fight it, and they will not spend any money to refer it to ballot, which is a positive. And it's a commercial excise tax on, activity tax on sales in Oregon, like over $1 million. It's a corporate piece, and then as a piece of that, because they know that that will have a trickle down to consumers, there's a reduction in personal property tax rate, or personal state tax, income tax rates. The one that's more alarming is that the budget is also got referred out of committee for the House Education budget, and it's a 9.0 budget. It's not the governor's budget. And what I'm not clear on is it includes, they're banking on dollars passing in House Bill 3427. I don't know if that adds to the 9 or if that actually, I think it might be to get to 9, they need 200 million to come from 3427, which doesn't come this first year. So if it's really only 9, yuck.
Right, we've been planning everything based on the governor's budget.
Wait.
And the House Education.
So 9 is higher.
A little bit. It's like 23 million, or.
It's higher than co-chairs, but it's not as high as the governor's.
We planned on the original governor's budget.
Oh, you mean the governor's reinvestment budget? Because the governor's budget that we've been using is 8.97.
Okay, so that's the number they went with then.
Okay.
So, not a lot of reinvestment on that side. All of their hope was on the other piece. So, note to everybody, legislators, do it tonight when you get home because it could be on the floor tomorrow. And it will be even harder to pass the Senate than it will be to pass the House side, and email every senator who represents Hillsboro School District, not just Chuck Riley.
Martin?
Michelle, I just wanted to compliment payroll supervisor Kim Granis and benefits team Lynette Kaufman. You singled them out here in court, but they really resonated with me. I know you and I and Jill and a lot of us sat in that negotiation for a long, long time, and I was trying to figure out, I mean, the wording in the text and the issues, I could figure out how we could get there, but I never could figure out how to go back in time and do the payroll and the benefits. That was the hard part. So my compliments to your team for doing that.
Mine too, I'll pass that on to you.
Okay, thank you. And I did have a question really for Mike, since we're talking about this. I don't want to be sour grapes about it all, but when we were originally advocating, we felt that CSL for us was like 9.4 billion. And so now we're getting 9. And what's really in SB 3427 that'll just straight come to K-12 is only $500 million. So at the end of the day, yeah, we're really kind of winding up at what we think is CSL. And which makes me wonder, if you followed my math, we needed 9.4 for current service level. We're gonna get 9, and you add in roughly $500 million this year from the Joint Commission on Student Success. That's 9.5. So the whole thing, we wind up plus $1 million. We wind up just really marginally over current service level. It doesn't wind up being the epic game changer, potentially.
Generational game changer like we had hoped.
Right. It just barely avoids a cut. So my question really is there something structurally wrong with the state school fund allocation formula that we're not benefiting from? I know that it's been told to me by the state legislature that we're an exporter of our property tax dollars. Because we're a wealthy community, we raise more in property taxes, but we don't ever benefit from that because our allocation from the state comes down. So essentially, this community is exporting education dollars to the rest of the state, so that the educational outcomes around the state are equalized. That's the whole goal of Measure 5, but I don't really know that anybody really understands that we're the organization that's doing that, HSD, or our community, Washington County broadly speaking. And yet we seem to be struggling. You know, if CSL for us is 9.4 million, then, you know, it makes me wonder if the formula isn't off the mark. Sort of setting HSD up to be underfunded by the state. I understand the state's not trying to do that maliciously, but it's basically an algorithm. They put all the data in and here's your money and here's your money. And I'm wondering if we consistently fall short, maybe we should go back and challenge what the allocation formula does for HSD. Just a question.
Yeah, like amongst the things for which we advocate in Salem, does an accurate CSL, should that be on the list of things we're advocating for? It feels like that's at least a few year problem.
CSL
talk about how whatever the co-chair uses to get to CSL doesn't even come close to matching what not just us, but most of the larger districts in the metro area. And who does it actually mean CSL for? I mean, I don't, of the 197, what percentage of them actually that is CSL for?
So I guess the biggest cost differential for districts in Oregon would be probably PERS, because their rates are anywhere from 1% to 33% against their payroll, which is a big deal. And so you can ask another district, a smaller district, someplace else who bonded early and did all the right things, and they're fine at 9.0. So that's a big part of the work that like COSA and those coalitions, that we can get a unified message to the legislature. But one of the issues is the information coming out of the legislative fiscal office is it's backwards looking, and they are going from a downturn where it doesn't necessarily reflect what we need as districts to continue current service level.
And I think OSBA said the 9.0 actually, for most districts, that's an increase. I think we are in the minority, a small percentage of school districts that does not meet CSL.
It's just the tax dollar exporters.
I think it's partially that, but I also think our PERS rate is pretty high. And there are a lot of districts around us who did that magic stuff, did it early, did it at the exact right time, at the exact right rate, and so their percentage of what they're paying is so much smaller that they're not struggling with PERS increases.
Is that with Beaverton's? So
I don't know the Beaverton's rate, but I know, I mean, as you meet other leaders from around the state, there are a lot of districts.
Portland's is low, and they're of course the biggest, and but they're starting to feel the impact too of those market losses from the last couple biennia, and so that's probably a big driver of the cost containment conversations that are happening in Salem. Is, oh my gosh, Portland's going to see $15 million increase just in PERS, like nothing else. That's just for holding the same. And so I think the legislature and the governor too has been using the PERS rate projection tool that can show the next several biennia based on current market valuations, and
it's a big game changer for districts.
So, did you mention, Ken, that there was a tweak that changed to make it out that reduced property tax?
The revenue package has it's a decrease in property tax.
Income tax.
Sorry, yes, income tax. It's a small, it's like 1/4%. It's not a big deal, but the thinking was that it would help that lever a little bit so that if you're paying a little bit more to purchase items, that would
So
offset.
if a local business raises
Yeah.
their price, maybe it's offset by you not having to pay as much tax on your personal tax.
Lisa, I do have another question then, since we're sort of on that topic. So it really sounds to me like the PERS cost containment discussion is potentially more impactful in HSD than the revenue side of the issue. Is that what I'm hearing?
Except for the 6%. So the governor's proposal is the 6% pickup, and in Hillsboro, our employees already do that. So for some districts, I mean, that wouldn't be a savings for us, right?
Right, the challenge would be is that it's not as straightforward as it seems. Other districts would have to generally buy that from their employees because they would have to make up for that in wages. And then they would in turn pay PERS on those additional wages. And then we or other competitive districts would have to increase our wages to be competitive. So I mean, that one's kind of not as straightforward as it seems, as cost containment would go.
I agree, it's just a straight up pay cut, is what it translates into at the employee level.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but you're saying we already do that so that wouldn't affect our employees, the 6%?
No, our employees already pay their own 6%. We don't pay that.
There's a discussion about 1.5% for observe and 3% for tier 1 and tier 2. That wouldn't apply to us then? Or is that an
That's
unknown?
kind of a different aspect. It's not the pickup cost. That's a strategy I think that she's included in her plan whereby current employees are actually like paying in.
Right.
I think it's like an additional,
As-
or it's money that they don't then recoup back out at the
Correct.
end.
So my
That's the deal.
understanding is
That's why
instead
it's a pay cut.
Instead of 6% going in,
Right.
it would be, 4.5% going in, and the additional
Oh,
1.5% is
okay.
going to pay down the PERS.
Liability, so you don't get it out at the back end.
Okay. Not that I'd say better, but at least I understand.
So periodically, the state school fund does get a look. I mean, that question comes up, is it working? Is that funding formula working? And I think the statewide challenge would be, it's one pot of money. So if you would squish it, it's like a, water balloon. If you squish it down over here, somebody's gonna get less and somebody's gonna get more. In that case, we may come out with more, but there may be 50 districts that come out with less. And so that's the political challenge around that.
The shrinking percentage of the budget that we get has been a huge issue for us over the years.
Okay.
Maybe we need to change your advocacy pitch to be more specific to HSD and not, because my pitch really worked for all 197 districts to date. I thought I was being quite egalitarian, but
That doesn't look like it's gonna help.
yeah.
Every time we talk about it, my optimism drops a little.
So let's add a little bit of fun to our evening and talk about policies. So we Yeah, there wasn't enough already. So now let's move on to the first readings of policies. Policies in the KG category. Mike, do you have any things to point out for us?
This is basically just the facility usage that we've talked about over the last several months. So what you're going to see here is a recommended deletion of the key usage policies that we had in place and then the adoption of the ones that we've been talking about. So that's pretty straightforward, I believe.
Okay. Anybody have questions? Jackie?
I had one question on it where it says overnight stays is prohibited. I just want to make sure, because I know there are some groups that, like marching band, where they have let a school stay overnight in this high school and then it's reciprocated when like Central goes to their high school.
Becky, what page is that?
79.
Okay.
Yeah, we need to adjust that.
Yeah, we need to make that.
I didn't
Oh,
finish
okay.
that part. We
Oh, okay.
have a process for that to be applicable.
Okay, so it just concerned me when I read that, I was like, oh gosh, does that mean, because they stay in ours and then we stay in theirs and then it's very,
Yeah, we'll fix that.
it's cheaper than a hotel for $150. Yeah,
Yeah, we have some requirements around that
okay,
to allow that to happen.
okay.
So.
But we're not planning to eliminate it as a possibility.
No, we just have a list of requirements for that to happen.
Okay, so we'll adjust the wording on that. Okay.
Thank you. Great. Thank you. All right, we'll have that on May 28th for approval.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Moving right along. Okay, HCU and HEA reports. Come on down, Devin and Joe.
Good evening. I'm standing here in solidarity with HEA, wearing my red for Ed, as they lead the fight for to stop this cycle of perpetual cuts that we seem to be facing. I'm standing here, and I stand with them because our students can't wait. Because I was a person who was sort of the first cohort to really feel the cuts. Because I don't know if you are aware, some of you do, that I'm a product of the Hillsboro School District. I actually joined kindergarten in 1990, about 2 months before Measure 5 passed. And at the time, I was way too young to understand how that bill would change my life, but it has, because I was identified as a tag kid in elementary school. Well, it just so happened that we ran out of money to fund a lot of tag programs when I was going through elementary school. When I got to middle school, I was interested in band and shop. Well, at J.D. Thomas, I don't know if you were aware, around in the early 2000s or late 1999, the music building, used to have a whole building dedicated to music, sat empty most of the day. There was only one class, first thing in the morning. I was able to take care of it. And I was so fortunate to be able to take that one class. When I got to high school, I was there when we still had 8 classes a day. You could take 3 electives every semester. I had 4 options for language. I was able to take my preferred foreign language 1 year at that school and then had to make plans out because it was eliminated due to budget cuts. And then when I was in high school, we switched from 8 periods a day to 5 periods a day, went to trimesters. And we went from being able to have 3 electives to 1 elective. And if I wanted to do band, I had to give up my lunch in order to play band and still have another elective. That was a language or art or some sort of CTE. And I think the thing that I felt through high school is that the adults stopped caring about my education because they didn't fund it. And that culminated in 2003, which I don't know if a lot of you are aware, we cut 17 days from the school. And we announced it in spring. Like, it was a seismic shock because I had spent my entire high school career trying to deal with the semesters, deal with everything, do everything so I could finally take CTE classes that last semester. And 17 days were cut out of the school year. I had to book as hard as I could just to have access and to complete the curriculum in those CTE programs. That really is what I was passionate about, what I care about, what I fought for 4 years, reading Ethan Frome, which I really hate that book, but dealing with that, to be able to do that, and the school district stole that from me. And I understand now I understand it wasn't their fault, but at the time, I was angry, and I was bitter, and as a student, that ruined my academic future, because I did not go on to college. As I left college, as I left school and entered the workforce, I was destined for low-end, low-wage work for my entire life. And that didn't change until I came and worked with Hillsboro School District. And actually was weird that the people who sort of ruined my education gave me the opportunity to live a middle-class life and to have that economic progress. And now I'm the biggest advocate for education, and I'm the biggest advocate for we need school days, we need longer school days, we need more school days, we need all that kind of things. And this is the thing why our students can't wait, because the cuts, over the last 10 years, we've cut 16 days from the school year. It happened to me all at once. It's happened to every student since in slow motion. And it's really tough to see that. And that's why we're marching on the 8th. That's why we're giving up that day of instruction. Because I want those 16 days back. I want our future students to have what I didn't have. And I want to make sure that they're able to do great things and that they all leave high school energized about going on and continuing their education, entering a mentorship program, going to college and career, and not leaving the school district bitter like I did. And I really hope, I'm so thankful that we have a school district that cares about this stuff, and that my opportunity of seeing this school board work as hard, and our teachers work as so hard, and our administration all care about the education of our students, that if I could go back and tell that kid back in high school that they do care, but they only can do so much. And I wish we could do more. So, thank you.
You know, as a teacher, that breaks my heart, right? When Deb and we met last week to talk a little bit about what we were going to say tonight, he shared with me that story, and I was like, you gotta share that story, Devin. This is exactly what it's all about. This is exactly why we're working for the House bill. And yes, it's not all what we need, but you know, it's 18, 20%. It's a start in the right direction. We can't wait anymore. The kids can't wait. We have to make a change. When I was a sophomore in high school, May 18th happened, which is not St. Helens. I was in Idaho. And I remember going outside and looking out and going, wow, that's a really dark, ugly black cloud coming our way. And so, you know, I think of May 18th every year, and I had that moment. I just can remember being outside, I think we went out to water the dog or something like that. And it was on a Sunday. That was the last day. You know, we didn't go back to school in Idaho. We had like 6 or 8 inches of ash. So I think of dark and gloom on May 18th, and you know, May 8th I want to think of sunshine as something positive in our future, and I really believe in my heart that we're going to look back and say, that was the day that things started to change, and that was the day when we actually made a difference. And I just want to say the bright spot of this evening is just working together in solidarity, but also when Erica received the $2,500 grant to be an educator because she was one of my students at Free Orchards. And so, I mean, it just was a moment for me, and I'm just, it's just so wonderful. So I'm going to end on that note, and thank you for everything you do for us.
Okay, student representatives time. Jessica is not feeling well today, so Samantha is our sole student representative. Take it away.
Okay, at Liberty, there was recently an assembly, and the percussion, the jazz band, and the choir all were a part of it, and I was really impressed by them. And I also wanted to say that I'm really enjoying my sociology class. It's so interesting, and right now we started a new unit, and it's about crime in teens. And I also wanted to mention that this last Saturday, I went to go volunteer at Blueberry Elementary for the Dia del Niño. They were having an event there, and some kids performed a dance, and it was really nice to see. And I did face painting for the little kids, and the dance that was performed, you guys might be able to see it if you go to the HSD festival, because they're going to perform it there too. And I also went on a field trip recently with my Avid class to Concordia University, and I really liked the campus. I could see myself going there. And the last thing I wanted to share is that in my citizen community services class, we're doing research on 2 issues that we soon enough we're going to come talk to you guys about it, so be prepared for that. That's it.
Thank you. Superintendent's time. Mike?
Just really quickly, I've been doing a series of coffee chats. I appreciate the board members that have been showing up to that. I think we're hearing in real time the impact of some of the budget reductions that are taking place and the increase in class size, and that is starting to be noticed by our patrons. So appreciate you being there, and the contributions that you make to that conversation. It's been important. We are going to have the opportunity to thank Kim in June for all of her years of service. And one of the things that we want to do is that because we don't have a board meeting in July, we want to rearrange the agenda items so that Kim can sit up here as long as possible. So what we're looking at doing is just having our last few agenda items would be the swearing in of the new board member and the approving of the board meeting dates for the next year, and then the election of the officers. So we will, our plan is to rearrange things so that Kim can be part of the entire meeting, and then we'll give her the boot right at the very end. So, but we just want to let you know that we're looking at that. One final thing is I think you're all aware, but just a message for the Proud to Be HSD Festival. It's such a good event. It's such a nice way to highlight all the great things that are going on in our district, and looking forward to attending.
Thank you. All right, Board of Directors, time, Jackie.
I don't have a lot. I just want the community to know that I know I personally struggled with budget decisions. It's hard. Nobody wants larger class sizes. Nobody wants to cut staff. We all value education, obviously, because we're up here and you elected us. And so it was heartbreaking. It really was heartbreaking. I just want to point out that there's Hillsboro School District Science-orama is May 7th at Central High School. So and that's at 6 p.m. and that's always a fun event to go to. So.
Bert.
It's been a really busy couple of weeks. I wanted to share some things with my colleagues because I think you'd be interested in some of the stuff that's going on. One of the cool nonprofits is called Home Plate, and it feeds homeless youth. And there was a fundraiser I attended last week, and they raised over $65,000. Typically, they feed down in the basement of the UCC Church on 5th and Main. So it's not affiliated with the church. It's just they use their facility, and it's really an amazing nonprofit. So if you ever hear about Home Plate, it's a worthy cause to get involved with. Similar worthy cause that I know some of my colleagues on the board are also involved with is Family Promise. And my wife and I were overnight hosts last weekend. And one of the families in shelter was a Hillsboro School District family. And two of the kids attend one of our high schools. And so I made a promise to one of them that I would hand her diploma. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Also, I attended a kickoff meeting that Beach Pace, Hillsboro City Councilor Beach Pace, organized the community to launch the West Side QRC. And that's for the LGBTQ plus community. So there's good things happening there. Make sure our community is welcoming and inclusive in a very savvy way to reach out to that particular piece of our community. And I was really glad to be there, and I learned a lot. And just quite coincidentally, there was quite a few members of our HSD diaspora staff and whatnot there, and it was really just an awesome thing. And if you don't know Beach Pace, she's totally awesome, and she ran a great meeting. So that's going on in the community and very positive. Had a chance to attend both groundbreakings, Evergreen and Brookwood, and those are so much fun. I want to commend Jane on Adam's team. She always runs a great groundbreaking events, so organized. I love the cookies. And Principal OJ and Principal Michelle had it all teed up with students ready to go and shovels in the ground, and it was awesome. This past weekend, I participated in Dia de los Niños. So is Olga. Olga, thank you so much. You're a superstar. That was awesome. And your 4 folks there were awesome. I'm going to be zooming from that event for the next year until it comes around again. It's just a great event. There's music, there's food carts, there's thousands of families, and it's just really cool. If you've never been to Dia de los Niños, it's in the Central Cultural parking lot section in Cornelius. It's really fun. Forest Grove School District had a booth too, and yeah, so that was good. It was very good. I got my 10,000 steps in over the last couple of weeks walking through various neighborhoods for various worthy causes, and I'll just leave it at that. Proud to engage since there's an election coming up.
You don't want to admit to supporting Nadira and I?
I do. It's
You guys see that?
I was handing out material for 7 amazing candidates. All of them happen to be women. 3 of them on the Hillsboro School District side and 4 of them on the Tualatin Hills Parks and Rec side. And if you didn't know, we overlap half of the Lennox attendance area is where we overlap. So only wonks would know that, but that's where I'm walking. Submitted testimony written in both the House and Senate for House Bill 3427, which is the one we were talking about. That's the Joint Commission on Student Success. And many of my colleagues did too, so you can go in there and read it. It was truly a statewide effort to get that thing to the House floor, Is it House or Senate tomorrow? House tomorrow. There's another interesting bill that I'll just mention because it's very germane with our Adelante Mujar's presentation. Senate Bill 543, which is sponsored by our Senator Chuck Riley, would create children's service districts, and I know several of my colleagues on the board are supporting that as well. So there's a lot of potential there to scale up what Adelante Mujar's is doing and other nonprofits and other agencies and organizations if that were to come into existence. This Senate bill doesn't create these service districts, it just allows their creation. And interestingly enough, Tom Hughes, former Metro President and Hillsboro Mayor, has now signed on to be the spokesperson for this effort in Washington County, so that's kind of exciting. I attended Senator Chuck Riley's constituent coffee on Saturday. It was a packed house. A lot of people there to talk about gun issues. A lot of people there to talk about vaccination issues, and I'll have a little bit more to say about that. But also K-12 funding. There were a lot of advocates there, not only for the revenue piece, but the cost containment piece. So that other shoe is going to drop. We're going to have to look PERS in the eye and tell our legislators where we stand on that. There's just no doubt in my mind that the cost containment piece is going to come out of this legislature as well. And that's going to be tough for a lot of us to get behind. So we'll have to see how that shakes out. Speaking of vaccinations, there is this House Bill 3063, which if you've been to any of the constituent coffees from any legislature anywhere in Oregon, they're packed with people who are really, really militantly upset about this piece of legislation. And I was sharing earlier, if it threw out 1% of our students, that's 200 kids. And at our current revenue, that's over $1.5 million in revenue we'd lose, just like that. Boom. Not to mention, what do we do with these kids? There's the potential that this legislation would literally throw thousands of kids in Oregon out of school, literally out of the building. They can't be in the building. So I don't know where that's going to go, but I think you can tell where I am on that one. We were invited to participate in Janine Solomon's Listen and Learn in North Plains, and again, Jane and Adam set us up with some swag on the North Plains projects, the renovation in the elementary school, and that was well received by the community out there. They love us. They love Hillsboro School District out there, especially when we come on Chapman. So kudos to the HSD team for going out there and engaging with our sisters and brothers in North Plains. And lastly, Luis, I love your Blazer swag. Thank you for everything you do, including your Blazer t-shirt. Thank you.
A couple things. One, it doesn't make a difference how often you do budget cuts. They are never fun. And it is always hard to interact with your community members and your friends and your neighbors after they happen, right? There's no good choices, and everyone thinks you made the wrong choice. Just try to have thick skin through those processes, because it doesn't make a difference if it's the first time and it's $1 million, or if it's the 10th time and it's multi-million dollars. It's no fun. I will not miss that part of the job. My apologies for my lack of attendance in April and May. I'm just going to go with that. So one of the reasons I chose not to rerun this spring was because of my kiddos and my college senior. I was very lucky to go and visit her a couple weeks ago and see her final production in college, and because of that I'm missing also a lot of May. And so I don't want anybody to think that I have short-timer syndrome, that I don't care about these issues. I'm flying on May the 9th. If all airlines
the line and there's no storms in St. Louis, I will call in. She graduates on Proud to be HSD Day, which is very fitting for her and very unfortunate for me.
Which one are you going to?
Yeah.
On the record,
Well,
please.
money, yeah.
Speaking of the mic.
And because my successful student doesn't exactly know what her plans are post-graduation, even though it's 10 days away, I don't know my travel plans. I have a one-way ticket to St. Louis. And so the silver lining of not perfect funding is that a kid can come through this system, have only 1 year in her elementary experience with fewer than 30 students, never experienced that class level in middle school or high school, but there were enough electives and enough caring adults that she followed her passion, graduate magna cum laude on time, and have career opportunities. And so, as disheartening as all the budget cuts are, just want to assure you, our kids have perseverance. We teach them grit and perseverance, and they do come out on the other side. And sometimes it's a juggling line to get there, but you can survive large class sizes with adequate love and support. On exciting news that I got this morning, I was just elected to the board of directors for the Hillsboro Schools Foundation, so you're not done with me yet. That's it.
Bring us a giant check.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I hadn't thought about to talk about it, but after Samantha mentioned it, we did have a break-in at Liberty. Speaking of all the great musical things at Liberty High School, somebody broke in and stole musical instruments. Probably everybody in this room already knows that, but if you happen to have an old instrument in the closet that somebody in your house used to play, maybe thinking about giving it to Liberty or so. So I have a saxophone that if my son can find, we're gonna get, because I think a saxophone was stolen, so. Might be a trumpet somewhere in my house too.
How big is your house? Jiminy.
I know we bought a trumpet somewhere. I also attended the potential first meeting of the potential Westside Q Resource Center. I think it would be an excellent resource for our LGBTQ students, sort of related to that. The first ever Hillsboro Pride Day will be Saturday, June 1st, so that'll be in the Jerry Villarienko Plaza, so if that's the kind of thing you're into, you can come out for that. All the coffee chats have been great, Mike. I know that these times are not that awesome talking to our constituents, but we have to do it, so there you go. The groundbreakings have been amazing. I also went to give whoever sees Jane, give her double shout outs because the events are well run, well set up, and they're just fantastic. And I met McKenna, I believe, an intern in her department who's also doing a great job, who's a student at Glencoe. All right. I listened. Somebody should tell my wife. Look, it's a rare. That's why it's noteworthy because it's rare. Looking forward to all the graduations, and Jackie and I are gonna have to fight over this entry list. That's probably good.
My schedule's been pretty packed lately with work and then canvassing. I've had some great conversation with community members. It's always an interesting chat, like afterwards, just kind of talking about, the many people that I talked to. And looking forward to graduation week. Won't be able to attend as many as last year, but that's always fun. That's all I have.
I've also been out on the doors for anonymous candidates. Friends with Mira. So I was also gonna mention that I attended the OSBA Color Caucus last Saturday, I believe, in Corvallis, and it was a great discussion, great group, and I'm always just really inspired when I go there and meet with them because we just brainstorm and talk about things that other districts are doing in regards to equity and how they're addressing specific issues. And I feel like once we have, we're thinking about creating, or actually we put it on there, a newsletter that will go out quarterly to our members so that you can also read what I hear, and it'll be a really great resource for us. And then Jackie and Mark and I attended the meeting with Suzanne Bonamici. And that was really great to be in that room and talk about our need for more teachers of color, and we talked about loans and a lot of issues that came up, but it was great to have you guys there as well as me. And I also second Martin's comment about the cookies at the graduation. They were amazing.
They're nutrition services too, right?
I ate too.
They're so good.
So thank you, Liberty, for that.
Thank you. All right, so I'll try not to repeat what other people have said, but I echo and agree with all the stuff that you guys said. Let's see, this week, Yadira and I got to attend the Public Affairs Forum for Washington County and talk about our candidacies, but really, I think we just kind of used it as a platform to talk about how cool Hillsboro School District is, because we don't have corners, so we can say whatever we want, and so we don't really have to message a certain way, so we just talked about how great it is. So that was a lot of fun and it was exciting. And then also, I think last week, Mark and I went with Mike to Century High School and did one of the student chats and brought donuts, where Mark super rudely ate the donut and I had been waiting for all the high school kids that knew I was waiting for that donut.
No, I did not.
And, oh my gosh, so good.
I absolutely ate the donut. I thought you said no one was gonna eat it. So I was eating it because I
Mike
liked
and I were talking about it all the way to the cars about why on earth would he do that? And apparently it was totally unintentional. Wait. It was pink and it had M&Ms on it, and I was dying to have it.
I thought your comment was,
no.
I told Mike no one's gonna eat that one.
No, no.
She's gonna
eat it. So good. But it's fine, I think eventually. But it was a really good student chat. We got to hear a lot from students, and they were really passionate about their schedules, for sure, and they were really open and honest with us, which was really, I think it was one of the best ones that I have been to, so it was really great that we got to do that. Yeah, except for the donut part. That was the downside. And then the other thing is, on May 18th, is the Team Up 5K thing, yeah? Okay, so on Saturday, May 18th, there's the 5K walk run that HEA helps sponsor every year from Echo Shaw, maybe? Yes, okay, in Cornelius, and it's super fun. You can walk and you can run, but the really extra exciting thing about it this year is that the money is going to benefit Witch Hazel Elementary School in Hillsboro, and two of your favorite Allens attend that school, and they are really excited about the money coming, because it's supposed to be helping to purchase some new playground stuff. And they're also doing their own little Wolf Walk thing where they're fundraising hardcore for that too. Caden is going to be joining me on the 5K, and so he'll be there with me, and so we would love for you to join us and help raise some money for Witch Hazel. So, and that's what you guys do, and I'm looking this way, but you guys all should come. Dale's done it before, Travis has done it before, they're the best. Kana's done it too also, so they should come and have a cabinet race, and it'll be cool.
We will all do it.
Yeah, that'll be great. I'm gonna walk because I'll be with my kid, but all right. So yeah, I did it with me last year, except for she ditched me because she's fast. So, but you guys should all come, and it's in the morning at 9, I think. Yeah, it's $25 to register if you're and then if you're a grown up. So. Not at heart, but physically. Okay, so wonderful. So we'll see everybody for our next meeting on May 9th, which is our budget committee meeting. I don't have anything else to say.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
We all forgot. I just want a shout out to our wonderful board secretary, Val, and Mike's secretary, Kathy, because it was Administrative Professionals Day last week, Erica. And you guys are amazing.
Here, here.
You keep us organized, you keep us on task and legal, so thank you.
Thank you.